Yo, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now, we are a couple of weeks away from UFC 311. We have a very exciting match in the light heavyweight division because of all the trash talk that's been said between Jiri Prochazka and Jamahal Hill. It's a very interesting matchup. Honestly, I really do feel like there is a lot of opportunity here for both of these guys. If I'm being completely honest, I feel like there is a lot of opportunity for them because of the lack of certain fundamentals with striking. If I'm just being completely honest, Jiri Prochazka, as we all know, is a guy that he uses an incredible freaking technique. I've never seen anything like it, but this guy is able to defend punches and defend strikes using his face. Now, I know that hasn't been always successful for him because, as we know, he's been knocked out by Alex Pereira a couple of times because this guy just doesn't defend his face for whatever reason. And of course, we know that Jamahal Hill is a guy that's notoriously known for having some really bad footwork. Not a fluid guy by any means, but he managed to become a champion. Both these guys have managed to become former champions, and I just think that between both these guys, there's just a lot of opportunity. Let's go ahead and look at some of these clips. Let's go ahead and start with Jiri Prochazka because I think this clip is very interesting. This fight here was against Glover Teixeira, and as you guys can see, his footwork is just all over the place. His base is all over the place. And before anybody says anything, this was before he got all those injuries, right? Before, I think it was like an Achilles, ACL tear, something like that. This is before he had all those injuries, and even back then, he just struggled, to have any fluid motion, any fluid mobility, any fluid footwork, and he's crossing his feet here a lot, and that's just, it just looks really, really bad. It looks really, really bad. And I think that there's a lot of opportunity here for Jiri Prochazka if he's able to pretty much find positions to where he could get Jamahal Hill out of his base. But we're going to go ahead and move on. Of course, we got Jiri Prochazka here. I couldn't really use any UFC footage because the UFC doesn't like whenever you take a lot of their clips. But here is a pretty easy indication on how Jiri Prochazka approaches strikes whenever he does strike in front of his opponent. As we see here, he likes to sit down on his base, and he does not like to cover his face at all. He's gonna start. Yep. No high guard whatsoever. And this is kind of the same things that we always see Jiri Prochazka do, is that he approaches his opponent, gets right into the 50-50, and just doesn't like the high guard for whatever reason. Now, I don't know if this is something that Jiri Prochazka does that's unconscious, but in my honest opinion, I really do think that this is just a lack in fundamentals. But with that being said, I really do think that there is a lot of opportunity for both these guys. It's going to be pretty interesting to see who gets who first. I think that Jiri Prochazka, obviously a really, really good, tough fighter. He just lacks a lot of fundamental defensive capabilities, and the same thing could be said about Jamahal Hill. I do think that he is a good fighter. I do think that he is, a smart fighter. He makes some pretty smart decisions sometimes, but I just do think that he just doesn't have the best footwork, if I'm just being completely honest. And it's insane that this is happening at the highest level. I mean, it's a different topic for a different video, but if I was to pick a winner in this matchup, I just think that a lack of footwork is almost too big of an exploitment, if I'm just being honest, man. I know that Jamahal Hill, he's been able to kind of mitigate that, and I feel like the way he's able to do that is because he is a natural southpaw, and he does do, like I said, some pretty smart decision making whenever he is fighting from the open stance. But if Jiri Prochazka is able to have a savvy way of finding entries, I do think he is going to catch him, even if Jamahal Hill is good at making some decent decision making from fighting from the open stance. Like I said, I just feel like the lack of footwork is too big of an exploitment if Jiri Prochazka is able to have some savvy approaches to approaching the 50-50 and getting into range and hitting Jamahal Hill. But that's the way I see it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. As always, it's a pleasure. Peace out and have a good one.